Hi, I'm Ray. Well, Sunday the 11th of May and it's a nice sunny day. We're now in May, so we should be away from the frost. But I've been asked a few questions, and in between doing the weeding, the horrible chores, I thought I'd answer a few of your questions that you've been asking. Our YouTube channel now has just had over 2.5 million views. So I'm really pleased of everybody that's joined along, and also the lovely comments that people have been making about how they've made such good progress with their garden, with their allotment, sowing seeds, and that is really encouraging, and it really encourages making these videos. And it's such a good, just to be outside in the air, just cows, birds. It's just absolutely lovely, just away from all the everyday stress. So I'm going to answer a few of your questions. So my first question is from Nigel and Muddy Boots, and with all of the drippers fitted on a 10-minute per day, so the drippers are here, how much water did you use in the week? So I'm going to show you the water butts and how much they've gone down over 1 week of using the dripper for 10 minutes each day. So this is the water butt that we've been using. They are linked together, the two butts together, and they were pretty full. We can see up to the white water line where they were. So, and that's much has gone down within 1 week. From Sunday to Sunday we've used probably a similar amount in each one of those, so that's lasted quite a long time. And each of the drippers have been working, they've been tested, and they're growing really well now. So as we can see, the polytunnel has been watered and we've not used a great lot of water. So my next comment is about our propagation, and this is from Cliff Briggs. It says, put the end of the pipe in hot water before you connect it to a drip or a joint. So he saw me struggling to get the pipe onto the dripper, and one tip he's given us. So while we're talking about drippers, and I was finding it hard to add our dripper onto our hose, but Jeff Biggs has mentioned about adding the pot to some hot water, and we're on the allotment, we don't have hot water, but I do have some coffee, and if we add our pipe in our water, in our hot water, it will soften it up, and then it will make adding the pipe onto the join or the dripper a lot easier. So that's a great tip. So thank you very much for that idea. Makes it a lot easier. So that's a great tip, and always please feel free to add a comment to my video. Little tips and hints like that is really good. So please always reply to me in the comments, and also some nice tips and tricks is also helpful. And with the watering system, Susan Knowles replied, I have a great watering system, my husband. Thanks for the video, Ray. So that is great. So please feel free to comment on on my channel, and that is really good. So I've had another question, and this one is about the McGregor trimmer, and there's a video, I'll add a link, and it is how do we adjust the angle. Well, there's no buttons, there's nothing to press, and it's a case of just pulling it and adjusting it. You could put your foot on the floor and doing that, making sure there's no battery in it, but just pull it backwards and forwards. There's no other method than just pulling it backwards and forwards. So I hope that helps with the trimmer. I've not got the battery, so we can't show the trimmer today, but another question is how to replace the cord in the trimmer. So I've not used this trimmer for a little while because we've gone on to the other one, but it's a pretty easy process. And if we look with the battery removed, we can see that there's two little press holes, one there and one the opposite. We press and it just reveals the little cap, and inside is the spindle with the cable. So these cables can be bought from Amazon. We don't need the special McGregor one, and they're a lot cheaper. And all we do is thread the cord through the hole. We place this spindle back over the hole, then we press the cap, and then we're back in use. If this is longer, when the cord hits the edge, it will cut it to the right length, and then away you go. So that is another question answered about how to replace the cord on your battery trimmer. So Paul Hobbs asked how our winter sowings are, and they're looking okay. If we can see down the hole, if we can see in there, this is our peas. So just grown in a milk carton, and these are going to go in the allotment today. So I'm just going to undo the tape, fold back the top, and look at that, we've got peas. So I've also tried to do some peas outside. We've had all this dry weather. We got one pea, and the rest of the peas have been eaten by the birds or some critters, so they haven't done so well. So the ones in the pipe are survived, so that is a real bonus for the milk bottle method. So this is the pea frame, and they're going to be planted in along the frame here, and we're going to tease them in this netting so they can grab the netting and grow up there. We did grow some more peas, but they've been very slow. And on the other side, we've done beans, and they're even more slower. So Michael was asked about my broad beans and when do you top them out. So topping of broad beans means to pinch off the growing tip of the plant once it starts producing beans down at the base. This is encouraging the plant to focus its energy on developing the pods, and it also helps to deter black fly. So we just take the top with some scissors, and we just take a cut, and that's great. So that's called pinching out. So they pinch out the tops as soon as the first beans begin to form at the base. This is encouraging bean production. By removing the growing tip, the plant will redirect its energy to developing pods rather than growing taller. It's this one here, look. It's nearly tall as me, 6 foot tall. We don't need them that tall. So I'm just going to cut out the tops. Now it can redevelop from the bottom. So thank you for asking how to top out our board beans. So we had another nice comment about the Parkside self-watering tomato planters. It says, thank you for your help. My mum bought 3 of these tomato planters from Lidl's and they didn't have instructions apart from some poor pictures. Too small to see or make any sense of. To anyone who's never used this type of device before, after watching your video, I now know what to do. So that is really, really great, and I'm really glad that I can help. And another nice comment about how to plant poppies. Thank you for simple instructions, and we'll do exactly as told. So that is really, really good. I've got poppies growing up now in the allotment and they're growing all over the place. Another great comment was from Kiki. And I thought I would plant 1 to 2 seeds in a cup made from newspaper, put them under my grow lights, and as soon as they became big enough, transplant the whole thing in a container. So that's a great idea. So another question about my homemade catio is, where did I buy the panels from? Well, the panels that I bought for the catio were made by a local pet company, and all they were was Avery panels that we've just screwed together and made into one little catio, and it was really quick and easy and just cost me just under £200. So if you could search on the internet for Avery panels, and that's an easy, simple way of just making your own catio. So my next question is about how to grow petunias from seeds. And it says, thanks for the video. This is from Rob Wainwright. Do you cover them with compost while they germinate? Well, with the petunia seeds and lobelia seeds, they're so tiny, you just sprinkle them on the top of the surface of your compost, and they just need light, and just keep them moist. There's no covering needed on top, and they would just grow without any covering. And the way that I did it in drills makes it a lot easier when you need to pop them out, to pot them up, just to go along the drills. So one thing my channel also does is brings lots of encouragement to other new gardeners, and I've got a lovely message from Georgina, and this is about the dahlias and the baggy method. And she's put, I'm going to try the baggy method. I live in an apartment, and when the leaves start to show, I go down to my brother's house and make a raised garden, as he has no borders or only fake grass, and it would give me something to do because I've become a bit of a reclusive and I need to get out on the daylight. In Gardener's World, I watched a woman who'd been suffering from very serious depression and started growing plants. Slowly it lifted her out of depression, and she went on to create a large flower display at the Royal Horticultural Show. Hopefully it will help me also. That is really, really encouraging, just to get out in the garden and just listen to the noise, listen to the bees, just get your hands in some compost. That's really, really encouraging, and it's just so nice. I don't even have to do anything down the allotment. I do, because it's a mess, but it's just nice just to come down, listen to the garden, listen to the birds, listen to the cows, and just sit and relax. Cheers. So Jeff has asked how I keep my tomatoes upright. Well, I'm using this piece of string attached to the polytunnel, and every time I visit I just wrap the head of the tomato plant around the string a couple of times, and there we go. Then we've got our upright. We've got a big sucker that's coming out here, so I'm going to remove this one and then remove the sucker there, and it can continue growing upright. Cut off this one, and this can be stuck right into a pot of compost, and this can be regrown into another tomato plant. 3 tomato plants. We've got our first tomato on our plant. So just added the cutting into a pot of compost, and then it can regrow into a new tomato plant. So another regular question is, we're now in May, and is it time to put out everything? Well, we've still had frosts in May. We've had some really nice weather this year, but not every year in May you can guarantee there's going to be frost. But I think in the south coast we're pretty much going to be clear of the frost. Can't guarantee it, but I think pretty much everything is going to go out in the next few days. Everything's looking a bit sad, needs the water, so hot. So I think it's going to get in the ground this week, and that'll be it. Cuttings and propagation of wisteria. And this is from Diana. It says, I have a couple of wisterias in my garden, but they never blossom. This spring I'm planning to grow wisteria in a pot. How many years do I need to wait for blossoms? So if growing in a pot can sometimes stump the growth of a wisteria, but it would take up to 3 to 5 years before wisteria can blossom. Well, if you're growing a wisteria from seeds, then it can take up to 10 years to blossom. But the wisterias do need lots of pruning twice a year, February, July, and then you'll get these wonderful blooms. And I love my wisteria, absolutely stunning, really nice. It's the time it's come out now, and I'll add a little video of my wisteria as it is now. And there's also will be a video of me visiting East Park in Southampton and their wisteria walk. So check that out, that'd be great. So there we go. I hope that helps, Diana. And another question solved.